Jesus said, "Here I am. I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into them and will dine with them, and they with me." When I first read the screenplay for The Perfect Stranger, I knew it was something I would love to be involved with. First of all, because I loved the story. I thought, both in David Gregory's novel and in Jefferson's adaptation, I thought it was very clever and courageous and really inspiring. And I knew that Nikki would be a very interesting character to try to bring to life. I knew that playing Nikki would be one of those fun kind of challenges as an actor. She's such a complex individual, and there were so many walls that needed to be built up inside her and slowly broken down. And she runs just about the entire gamut of emotions within a fairly compact amount of time. So we had to be careful in this particular story to not give away too much too soon, but let the audience follow Nikki naturally on her journey through this day. I think that Nikki is a character that almost every human being can relate to on some level and identify with. She works so hard to achieve this success in her personal life, her family life, and her work life. And she doesn't realize that the more and more she tries to keep situations under control, the more and more stressful and out of control they become. In her particular situation, she doesn't realize that in her anger, these things that she's tried to surround herself with to make her life perfect aren't filling this void that she has inside her. Throughout the course of this evening, Nikki not only comes face to face with the things that have been haunting her throughout her life, but she also, in the beauty of this story, gets to come face to face with Jesus Christ himself. And it poses the question, what would you say? What would you do? What would you ask if you were sitting across the table from Jesus Christ in person? And in Nikki's particular case, she poses many of the questions that several people have probably explored on their journey towards faith. And she voices also her frustrations, her pain, her anger, her denial, and ultimately her adoration that's developing for this Jesus. And this all happens as she realizes that in the midst of all the complexities and frustrations in life and humanity, and how complicated all the questions can be, how simple the answer really is. It all comes back to this gift, this immeasurable love of God, which is why I think this story is so beautiful and why I think this film is important, because that love is what I think it's all about.
In writing the screenplay adaptation of Greg's novel and also in shaping this performance of Jesus, there were two main points that I wanted to shine through. You know, I wanted the audience to walk away with. One of those points was that Jesus is real, and he is who he says he is. And the other point was that Jesus already has this unique and personal relationship with all of us, like he did with Nikki, that he really is someone who would like to sit across a table from us and talk to us and have a conversation and hear about our needs and answer our questions. I think that everyone in general, and this is non-believers and believers as well, I think they've all seen enough of the Jesus that is up on the velvet painting, you know, and on the floating on the stained glass window. He's so distant and far away. I think they need to see the personal Jesus. They need to know that there's a Jesus like the one in the story that knows our name, the one that knows our kid's name and knows our favorite ball team, knows what we love to eat, even knows about the goofy thing that we did when we were 6 years old. And it was a challenge in presenting this story because we wanted to represent Jesus as someone who was really likable, but at the same time, we didn't want him to be a pushover, one that says that everything is fine, it's okay, whatever you do, whatever. We needed to show that Jesus does say, judgment is not my primary thing, but there are rules that you need to live by. And like he told Nikki in the story, it's not rules to take your fun away, it's rules that will make you better. And it's rules that will keep you safe, and rules that will let you enjoy my love to its very fullest. So we've tried to really do a fine line between the Jesus that was our friend, but also the Jesus that is a counselor, and Jesus that does give us some guidance. There have been other cinematic instances of where Jesus met with someone in modern times. And personally, I always thought those movies missed the mark, because every time it seems like Jesus and even God was portrayed as someone who